Oh Lord, oh Lord.
All right, you'd never guess.
Yeah. I feel like I just walk into like a civil revolution.
You can't escape the voice of your mind, the voice of your soul.
French reggae, boy. Sounds like English. So this is Dana Kill, Nati Jean, and Kimani Mali.
I know one day.
Alright.
French. And why did we pick French reggae?
Well, we picked French reggae because we shoot Sundays, and today we are talking about some images that we captured in France. So, welcome, I guess.
Yeah. And not France. Sorry, more specifically than France, Paris.
Paris. Yeah. So 2024, as part 2 of a trip to UK, jumped on a train and headed over to Paris. It was quite impromptu. If you remember, we were like, let's just go over. So we took, what was it called? The Eurostar? Yeah, Eurostar over. And how long? Maybe 3 hours? I can't remember.
I think it was less,
Yeah,
Yeah.
less than 2 hours, right?
because it was pretty fast.
Right, so
Yeah.
less than 2 hours later, we are in Paris, and we didn't know what we were going to do. So pulled into Garden Nord, and we just roamed for a day. In my case, my wife and her mom were in Paris, so we were trying to somehow synchronize them, but we just kind of walked around. So
Yeah.
these images today are mostly from that trip. I also have some from previous trips to France, well, to Paris in one case, and another town outside of Paris in the next case. I'll just share some of those because, again, we don't want them to die. We don't want them to
Yeah.
sit on hard drives and never be seen. So maybe you should start us off.
Sure. So my first shot, so as I just said, we took the Eurostar train and came over. These are called bullet trains, right?
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
most part. I
Yeah.
mean, they are high-speed trains.
Right.
A Japanese might say this is not a bullet train up to like Japanese standards, but it is
Yeah.
a high-speed train.
Yeah. So this was my first time on one of them. So I could be wrong, but I remember being on it and doing some googling, and I think this was the third or second fastest, with the actual fastest one being over there in Japan. So came out of the train, felt a bit surreal. My first time in Paris, and I really wanted a shot of the train station to try to an all-encompassing shot. So one frame that shows that everything that's going on, trying to tell a story, and that little barrier in front there, that's as close as I could have gotten to. This was shot on I want to think at either 28 or 35, and I tried to capture the train, tried to get the conductor or some official, and it wasn't like a family. It looked like a broken up group of people. But all in all, the framing that I was going for was, you could make out some detail on the people's faces, but the blown out sky and the windows and all those leading lines kind of push you back down. Even the lines on the track itself, and then of course the train itself, it all pushes your eye down to those people in the back there. And I was really, really happy with this photo. When I took this, I said, wow, this is like off to a great start, like a fantastic start.
And it doesn't, what this image doesn't tell you is just, there were hundreds of people on this train, and it was so busy as soon as you got off. Train stations are a kind of, I find them to be quite stimulating because there's so many people going in different directions, who's lugging their suitcases, who's off to work. And then you pull into the station, it's kind of old world, these very old arches, style of metalwork is from a time gone by. You could even see the posts on the side, they're quite ornate in their own ways, the bulbs, the lamps. So, it was nice pulling into the station, and good weather. It was warm. And we started our journey. And as we walked out of this train station, we decided, well, let's just head in a general direction towards. In fact, I didn't think we knew where we were going, but we were just like, well, the Eiffel Tower is that way. Let's just keep walking that way.
Yeah.
And one of the features of that walk, what captivated my attention, was just how interestingly the doors are at the street level, right? So they are a thing of art in and of themselves. Each of these doorways into whatever the abode is there, painted, well, very ornate in their design, some of them painted in very rich colors. And so I found myself, I don't know, obsessing over doors. So much so that I came back to the editing suite and I was like, why do I have 50 doors? You can't do anything with it, right? But I will share some of the doors that stood out to me. And, also let me switch to mine. So one such door was like this kind of Popeye character, which has a pop art finish to it. It's kind of Popeye the Sailor Man. It reminds me of Popeye the Sailor Man. It's probably not Popeye, right? But you have tons of these types of doors. I mean, this is a rolling shutter, but just imagine doors all throughout with different designs and colors. And I started to become kind of obsessed with people walking past the doors. So like these moments, I found myself standing and waiting for people to make these doors even more interesting to me. And in this case, I picked this one because there's quite a lot going on. There's this man rushing to work, well dressed, nice bag. But then I noticed it looks as if Popeye is looking down at him almost judgingly. And then I noticed the oddest things, right? There's a that looks like handcuffs in the bottom right. Like it's almost quite I don't want to say freaky, but what are those handcuffs doing there?
I don't wanna make it too overly deep, right? But when you put Popeye into context, like the way he's looking at him,
yeah.
Like I get this expression of like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Where are you going?
Like, bro.
Yeah.
And then similar framing, but this girl, you could tell she looks stylish. She looked like she just went shopping, but she also looks worried.
Yeah.
But I found myself drawn to these passageways, these doors. There's clearly a culture of, making, because the architecture there is quite repetitive. If you think about it, each city block looks quite similar. I forgot the name of it, arrangement. There's a term for each city block. And so the doors actually stand out compared to the buildings. So
what did you say? You said the girl looks
she looks worried.
worried.
Yeah, she
I
has
laugh.
a heavy burden.
I laugh because what if she's like, why is this guy taking a picture of me right now?
Exactly. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So this started the journey, and then we spent, I don't know, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours roaming from the train station on the way down. Anything else you captured on the way down?
Yeah. I could relate to the doors.
Switch over to you.
Yeah. So with the, why is this doing that? Oh, this is strange. That's why. Oops. Yeah. So this is a window. Actually, they had very long windows as well. This is like one of my favorite photographs from the trip. Just because of so I'm a early morning, well, not as much lately, but for the most part I'm a early morning, look at the soft sunlight, cup of coffee, I love bread, so Paris was fantastic. That's me. So I when I saw this, it's like this little piece of heaven, but putting all those personal things aside, I couldn't help but be attracted to the way that the light was falling inside. And I was thinking, man, like, I just need like a protagonist there or just some conversation.
Yeah.
The lighting was so good. And this was obviously not staged, right? I'm guessing there's some kind of pastry on the shelf there. And I want to believe, in my mind, those are 2 like glass bottles of milk.
Right?
Yeah.
It
And
looks like milk for sure.
Right. And it's this very, very cozy little pocket. And
It's very warm.
yeah, it's very warm. It's very inviting. You feel stimulated enough to be creative, to be relaxed, to kind of go inwards. And I just had to take the picture. So the composition and all that good stuff, I wasn't really concerned with that. I really just wanted to capture the look and feel. I don't know if I said it in one of our previous episodes, but sometimes I may see a particular set,
Yeah.
or the way the light would fall, and I may want to replicate it sometime in the future, and it's good to just have a reference.
Yeah. So I can see this in one of your films in the future.
Yeah, knock on.
Knock on wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Two,
Fingers crossed.
two lovers meet for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you captured the essence of a French breakfast. Well, sorry, a Parisian breakfast from what I observed. You're right, freshly made pastry or bread, coffee. And I mean, credit to them, they do know how to kind of take their time. That was my observation. Like, they were not in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Paris itself is full of tourists, but the locals that were there were like, yeah, the tourists do what they're doing. I'm going to sit and have my coffee.
Yeah.
Sit and have my pastry.
That's so true. Like, the girl before did look a bit worried, but in general, I agree. I found their disposition to be very relaxed, very much this hour. They're very present.
Yeah.
So as of right now, I'm sitting having lunch.
Yep.
And after lunch, I'm going back to work. There's very little anxiety. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I'll play off of that then. Like, this image then. If I switch to, so this image of these two gentlemen, just as we said, I was kind of peering into them having a little mid-morning brunch, sitting in a Parisian space, and I was drawn to this because of the color and because of those. I guess those look like bike racks. People kind of put their bikes in. I'm assuming that's what they are. I can't figure. Oh no, there may be tables on the side actually. Those are collapsible tables on the side.
Oh, folded.
Yeah. But those were very odd images sitting below them, and then I see these two men having a time, and it's only after I noticed, beyond them this French maid or something in the back on the wall. Yeah. So it's actually a quite dense image. The red in it drew my attention, and then these two men, I became quite obsessed watching them have their little stylish breakfast.
Yeah,
they look like very stylish men having their breakfast with their shades on.
That is one thing I will miss a lot from Paris is their breakfast, their food. Hot bread, boy. Flour is a buttery. It looks so good, so good.
Yeah, they do love their French. They didn't want to talk too much English though, but they do love their French breakfast. Yeah. I see you have
Yeah, so on that same note, jumping there to one of the cafes that we walked by, there was nobody at this one, but one, I love the color, color red. So I don't know if it's just me watching too many Martin Scorsese films, but to me, this is where they would be sitting, and the gangster and his family would be in the middle there somewhere, and drive by, glass shaking and people singing, and that's what I saw. Yeah. But again, great location for some dialogue.
Right.
Something that you pointed out to me on the trip was that somewhere we were eating, and I think I commented on how close the chairs and the tables were. So, for example, even in this photograph, if you look
that's so true. Yeah.
If you look at the chairs, like if there's a family of four and another family of four, like there's no personal space. I could hear you all arguing. I know what you're talking about, and you had pointed out to me that it's almost it's intentional because it encourages I want to say community building.
Yeah, and they just seem not to be in any rush. They would sit
unbothered
and have their coffee, even in the afternoon, sitting very in close quarters. You could, as you say, you could overhear everybody's conversation, and it's cool.
I remember when we met up with your wife and her mom, and we were having lunch, like a latish lunch, and we sitting there eating, and I had my backpack and my jacket on the thing, and a lady came and her purse was there, and it was kind of like this mess, and she said, "Oh no, that's fine," and then I'm like, okay, I guess we're friends now.
Yeah, I guess we're friends now. Exactly.
Yeah. But it like again, and this all of the cafes I would say have this look and feel. You
Yeah.
eat out on the sidewalk.
I wonder if they do that because they think that's what tourists want. The tourists thought of what Paris is. But anyhow you take it, it was everywhere. This there's no equivalent to this in Trinidad, for example.
No.
There's no way that invades your personal space as much.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I would love to see a version of that, but I feel like it's fight and argument.
Yeah, Trinidad's be like, "Hey, move from my Yeah.
I think the only example of this type of close seating you would find in the cinema.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you ever notice in a cinema, people are like, I'll sit here with whoever I came with and I'll skip a seat.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
cinema is actually quite underutilized because of that. You always have a space between somebody else, a stranger. Okay, so I'll jump over to mine. And it's a bit of a recurring theme, but I'll just get these out of the way, right? The doors. I should have probably spoken about this before. But this door, I probably stood for about 15 minutes waiting for people to pass and not be in front of this door. In fact, there was a group of about 5 or 6 women. They were trying to figure out where they need to go, and they were looking at their phones, right? And a map or something. And I was like, oh, come on, ladies, move. So I waited and waited and waited and waited. And then took that shot. And then there was also this shot, if you remember, of this lady walking in front of the door. And I printed it. This door actually affected me so much that I wanted to print it. And I think this is probably the best example of, I don't know, living art for me in this space where people have vandalized this door, and it became even more impactful.
It's pretty, right?
Yeah. A lot has to be said about graffiti too, like that whole Banksy in the UK and Space Invader in France, and that whole graffiti movement of the 90s and into 2000s. So this, you can argue, is grotesque, and I see this as being compelling. The yellow, the green, it's kind of Rasta in its approach. But it have little roses and little images that have been plastered on, and I don't know. I just find this to be so compelling and so impactful. The yellow, in the midst of everything else, the yellow was standing out.
Yeah.
It was such an odd color.
I was about to say yellow is a pretty hard color to use without being overwhelming, but it's balanced pretty nicely with all the graffiti and that type of thing.
Yeah.
You said living art just now, and I wonder, the guy who designed door, who was finished and kind of stood back and say, this was my vision. Right? I wonder if he knows, like, there are 2 trainees talking about, like, 2 trainees came to Paris, took a picture of his door, came back, print it, and then talk about it on a podcast. So I see art like moving through time and space.
It's true.
In that way,
Well, in fact, the guy who made this door is probably turning his grave that the fact this door is yellow. He probably built this door to be like a stone sculpture, and somebody said, I'm going to paint this thing yellow. So he's probably turning his grave, but it's probably, I'm now seeing little faces up to the top left. There's 2, like, people peeping out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so, like, this is really, really compelling to me. I'm so happy. I can't wait to put this painting up in a space, or in a space, Yeah.
And then and then so it goes. Somebody will ask a question about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody has a door like this in their house in Trinidad, I'd be like, yuck. But it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, I could jump over to you.
Yep. So this image, again with the theme of light and spaces, this was near to a cathedral or some holy space. I can't remember the name of it. Just casually looking around, and I looked down into, I guess this was going on to their subway.
Yes, I remember this.
And I saw that light coming in, and to me, as a you have to be blind to like turn and see that, and not see all the leading lines.
I was the blind one, because I remember walking past this, and you went back. I remember you went back together. I was like, "What is he peeping down in that hole?" So yeah, I was the blind one for sure. But the subway tiles, yeah, classic subway tiles too.
And just like the previous shot of the light hitting that little breakfast nook, I could see the title card come up, and then the protagonist, or this is more like an antagonist thing, comes down the stairs, and then you see him go down the other one, and you even see him before in the shadows
Coming on,
and you could leave a camera on the tripod there and let that just run, and you get so much depth in that image. Yeah. Like I don't have much to break down because it speaks for itself.
Yeah, these spaces, I mean, again, they're well worn. These stairs, I mean, it's not the prettiest of places, but it has so much character as well. I'd probably be worried to go down in that basement though. Go down to that subway.
Yeah. It's pretty dark too.
I've never had a experience on the Parisian subway, so I have no frame of reference for how new it is or old it is, how clean it is or not clean it is. But
what if you go down there, it gets dark, you push a door, and then it's this pristine, white, well-lit area.
Minimalist.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right,
I'll jump over to me. So we continued our walk, and I'm sure you may have images along the walk, but we got down to the river. I'm not trying to push your images over to the river, but we got down to the river and we then sat. It was a sunny day, and I remember them people sitting by the river, just I guess being affected by watching water, and watching water has a very strange effect. I was asking somebody this. Went to Maracas the other day and I was like, what about being next to a body of water that makes it so calming or fulfilling, right? So a number of people were sitting by themselves or with a friend having a meal with their foot overlooking the river. Is this a Seine? No, I can't remember what it's called now. But not all of them made me feel as though they were happy. So this image, I remember standing behind her taking the photo. It's a cowardly photo when you think about it. Again, me shooting behind people's backs. But it takes you to a space where, is she worried? Are you going to jump? Are you having a good day? Yeah. I remember having that question in my mind. And there were a number of these types of images, right? I could kind of cycle through a few of them. Where
I have a question when you're finished.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, so... Okay, so you're saying if she's, are you happy? Are you having a good day, right? Sorry, this is silly, right? So would you buy food before you plan to come thinking?
The last meal.
Yeah, no, but yeah. So I'm thinking okay, I know today at 1, this is a very dark conversation, guys. Today at 1, I'm gonna throw myself into the river, right?
Yeah.
But around 10, I'm hungry. So would you buy food and eat and then do it, or would you just?
Yeah. And would you eat that? She looked like she just had a soup and a salad. I'd have gone for some bigger. So we're sure this is not her last meal. This is definitely just her by the water. I would have gone for at least a croissant with some
splurge,
some jam. All right. So then I keep seeing these people, like this woman sitting by the river reading a book. And it makes me cast my mind to where do people sit and read in our society? Where does that happen?
At home.
Yeah. I don't think I see people out reading.
You reference the beach. You might see somebody reading on the beach, I would say. But yes, our green spaces, because we do have some, they're underutilized. And I think it is a safety concern.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. But even when Trinidad didn't have some of these safety issues to contend with, other than maybe on a university campus, I don't see people trying to think of where I see people just relaxing, reading. It's hot out.
As a recreational
thing,
Yeah.
So, yeah, and so I had a few of these types of. So this woman became very interesting to me too, because she was engrossed, sitting by the water, in this coat.
I think I have one of her.
You have one of her as well.
Or I should say, I know I have one of her.
Yeah.
Did I keep it? Yes, I did.
Yeah, I could jump over to you. Oh, nice. Yeah. So truth be told, Azriel and I had broken up by this point, right? Meaning we had split ways. I was probably trailing you by a few minutes. You had walked ahead. So I actually love your framing on this. Your wide framing on this is lovely.
Yeah. She I think we had a discussion about this when we realized we both took the same photo, that somehow yours made her look depressed. Or I think
Yeah.
I think you had one from more behind.
Yeah.
And then from this side you could tell that, okay, well, she's fine, she's just reading.
Have this one. Yeah. Same person.
Yeah.
Depressed again.
Yeah, like,
But this looks
mhm.
like if she's enjoying life and it's quite purposeful. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you're so right. I'm looking at what they're wearing too, and these aren't people that I'm assuming, the assumption that this is not them leaving their homes in like casual clothes and just chilling. This looks like she left work.
Yeah. This was their lunch break.
And I could imagine how enriching this is for their lives.
You know, I think I'm gonna start to do that. I'll on my lunch break just go sit down somewhere and
So I've tried that, not going somewhere, but I have like kept like a book in my bag, my work bag, and read during my lunch. And I used to be looked at like a weirdo.
it is kind of weird though.
Yeah, because I'd be sitting there eating and I have the book, and people would walk by and say, "What you reading?" And I would say, "This is Plato's Republic,"
Yeah.
and they would say, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
Yeah, like, it's like,
yeah.
oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I feel that's a good challenge for myself this week. Like,
But where
and
would
it
you
helps
go?
you savor. It really doesn't matter because it helps you just savor time.
Mhm.
Like
Slow down.
slow down. Yes, savor the moment. I just go across the road, like from the office, find a bench, sit down.
Yeah.
That might be a nice vibe, actually.
Oh yeah, sure. Like that's not a far walk.
No,
Yeah.
it's right there. Yeah, I actually love the framing of this though because you put a lot more context with the bridge in. I mean, more than I had done with mine, for example. I mean, the bridge is like she's more in focus on the bridge. You don't get a sense of the expanse of the water crossing compared to like how you framed it here.
Yeah.
You know, so the bridge is an amazing kind of accompaniment to her, the way you framed her. And I like how you have on the third. So this is a way more interesting framing of the same subject and environment.
What helps to thank you. I think what helps too is the ledge of the river, and the bridge. It makes like they're not parallel, but they're slowly getting closer to each other. So it helps draw the eye towards her.
Right.
I mean, as well as she's the only person really in the foreground.
Yeah, and then what I would say though is and I'm not sure if you got this perspective, but then I found that this image has the context around what she was probably using as a backdrop to her afternoon, right? And this is what makes these old cities so beautiful, right? Like the architecture. So yes, you had the bridge off to her right, but I mean, imagine sitting down, chilling on your lunch break, and this is what you have in front of you while you immerse yourself in whatever fiction or non-fiction that she's reading, right? So
Didn't get that perspective.
yeah, I actually I was surprised at how rich the image became once I got the architecture in. You know, that old kind of dome, these columns, and it was a style of building buildings long time that, I mean, imagine an entire city with this aesthetic. You know, we quite used to know metal and glass and stuff, but you know, these people build stuff with stone, and it's quite in a quite ornate way. And so when the city was new, I could just imagine what the city felt like.
Yeah, brand new.
Brand new, yeah. At a time when the money was being spent, and you know, you had these new developments, right? And this is maybe hundreds of years old by now, and it's still standing the test of time, you know. So, yeah, I'll throw over to you.
This just because we at the river. Is this considered a river?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a river.
Yeah, so this was us. This is, as Ryan said, we had broken up and going through like a tunnel, and I really liked the contrast between standing in a dark tunnel and what was happening outside. Oops! Right, every time. Every time. Yeah, so going off of what you said about the architecture of the city, but so that's one, that to me that's like a more a supporting element. But in this photograph, it's I almost want to say there's like a vast variance in like the walks of life. There were tourists, there were students, there were professionals, there were old people, and this river, it's like everybody knew this is the place to go to pause,
Yeah.
to reset, because in that whole walk, I don't think I overheard any loud person, any argument. People exercising. Some people were covered up. Some people were more or less stripped down. I think there's a bareback guy running through there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Again, they don't miss because we take our heat for granted. These temperate countries. So this was a warm day, and they were lapping it up, as you say. By the time we got here, this was maybe just after lunch or something.
Mm-hmm. It was packed.
Do you run at 1 on a this was I think on Monday or Tuesday? Do you run at 1?
Yeah, we run early morning or late in the evening.
They were just like, son, get it.
Yeah.
And your images of these people sitting on the side of the street, this is just I kind of call it like they go into gecko mode, right? Like iguana mode. They come out and they just stand out in the sun.
Yeah.
Soak it up. Yeah. I guess we take our Caribbean heat for granted.
Yeah. And they would probably come to us, take photos, go back home and say, we take our cool weather for granted.
For granted, exactly.
All
right. So maybe not too far away from where you were here. Let me just share. This is a bit abstract. I'm not sure if it's even compelling, but it's useful for a reason, right? I remember walking past this staircase. I'm not sure if you took a photo of the staircase, right? And I tried to take it square on, so there is no depth to it. It kind of the background wall and the banister or whatever. It feels like it's kind of painted on, right? But I was drawn to the locks, and I didn't quite understand. I'm sorry, I didn't know why locks were even there, but it must be something deeply cultural, or at least with deep cultural significance, because later on I got to see other places that had locks. So I don't know if it's like a promise to somebody, or if it's like the lock signifies love, or
obia.
Obia, it could be obia. But I then started to notice that there were locks on these metal railings across, certainly these touristy areas that we were in. But they must mean something. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
In fact, while we're going through this, I'll probably try to figure out what do locks in Paris mean. But yeah, this one it drew me to it again. Stone architecture for sure, quite ornate in its appointment. But yeah, I found myself being curious as to why these locks started to exist in these public spaces. Yeah. I
think I'm pretty sure it's something positive.
It must be love. Some kind of love promise. Let me check. And then it was very, very prominent. And when we had later on, and I'll pull that picture up, and we got to the Eiffel Tower area. Locks in Paris. Let me see what it says. Love locks. The love lock tradition in Paris, where couples attach padlocks to bridges and throw the keys into the Seine.
That's literal.
It's also obia.
French obia.
I mean, imagine you're now locked into love with somebody that you actually don't want to be in love with anymore.
Yeah, so what if it works, right? And you're in love, and all of a sudden one morning you get up, your wife divorce you, you all fall out, can't communicate only because they take down the bridge, or they repaint and they cut all the locks.
They get rid of the locks, and it's like, why my relationship not working anymore?
All of a sudden,
we were going so good,
Yeah.
Oh, look, they said but this practice was largely discontinued in 2015 due to structural concerns and safety issues.
Okay.
I guess that means lots of locks were weighing down these pieces of infrastructure. And it goes on to say that couples would inscribe their names and sometimes a date on the padlock, attach it to the railings of bridges, and then throw the key into the Seine,
correct, yeah.
symbolizing the everlasting love.
You could do that anywhere though.
Mm.
Just buy a lock.
Interesting.
So I guess it's the tradition of throwing the key into the sand that makes it forever.
Forever, yeah. But here it is. They say the weight of the locks estimated to be over 45 tons caused structural damage
Wow.
to a bridge known as the Lovelock Bridge. And in 2014, part of the bridge's railings collapsed. Okay, so clearly they started to relocate them to other places. So the Lovelock started to spread throughout the city.
Okay.
Interesting. All right, I'll throw over to you.
Yeah. So for me, this was I assume a group of friends. Walking by and they were chilling, and I just asked them if I could take a photograph. You know, taking a step back and talking about like the disposition of the people. That was a thing I noticed too. I was less eager to ask them to take a photograph because they looked like they were in their own zone in their own
yeah.
space, chilling.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't want to be an annoying tourist and like, hey, can I get a picture of you guys?
Yeah, yeah.
That type of thing. You know? But these guys, they were pretty friendly. And so the guy on the left, I just noticed there's a heart on this bag. I'm guessing it looks like a love lock.
Oh, look at that. Yeah,
It's a
the
C.
heart. The heart, yeah. I see it.
Something. So, yeah, and so they said, yeah, and they posed the photo. I took a few, but after the photo was taken, I think I said thanks or something. That guy on the left, he was totally oblivious. And the reason I said that they're friends is because the way they all laughed, it's like this slice of life picture where he's like the goofball where, you know, he's clearly unaware of anything that's going on. You know, the girl on the right, she's like the mom of the group. And then this girl in the jacket, like she's the cool kid. And then this one with the Fanta, he's just happy to be there. So, yeah.
Yeah, they look like they're taking a break from school. They look like school-age kids. I don't know.
Okay.
College at best, do you think?
But man, I don't know, because they all like the dress code in Paris. Like everybody just
Had to tell.
yeah. I couldn't tell who was corporate and you know who was this and yeah.
But again, just standing out, taking his son.
It would be cool if I could have like found them and give them this picture. I think they would have appreciated it.
Yeah, nice friendship picture.
Yeah.
I like the red jacket amongst all the blue.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody seems to have, maybe that's a college uniform. I don't know, blue and blue. But anyway, blue jeans with a blue top. And then this girl with the green leather jacket. So she stands out. So there's a contrast here that's actually very interesting. Or at least my mind is drawn to.
And then the guy holding the Fanta thing is a
his red.
nice little balance.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, cool. So we were close now to Eiffel Tower. I can't remember how we made our way there. Did we jump in a car? I think we took a car up.
We walked. We took the car. We took a car.
We
to
took
go
a
up.
car.
We
So
walked
somewhere
to go
around
back
here we jumped into a car. Well, we went to Champs-Élysées and we didn't last long there. I don't know if you have any images of that, but we kind of got around here. After this, we went to Champs-Élysées and we went and met my wife and her mom for lunch, and then hopped in a car and headed up to Eiffel Tower, right? So I don't want to sound like in any way snooty, but
How you gonna avoid that?
yeah, Eiffel Tower is actually the least interesting part of that day, to be honest.
And all of Paris mourned. They mourned the value.
Yeah, and they all cried.
They mourned the value of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, but I found the Eiffel Tower. So let me back up. I have been in years gone by. I went to Paris and the Eiffel Tower was interesting. But I remember that first time, I spent a lot of time in and around it, and I realized after that it wasn't, I wasn't having an individual experience. It was a tourist trap in the truest sense. It's like Times Square in New York and all these places where they're lovely to visit, but when you're there, like, why are all these, why am I here with 40,000 other people?
Marketing.
And so it kind of, it takes away from it, because then you're just feeling like if you're being herded through this experience, right? And it's quite commoditized. And so it's an amazing monument. And
I'm just going to put up, I don't have much to talk about, so let's put it up to reference.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's do it justice, right? I'll show some images that I took of it from a time past, right? So let me go back to, first time I took images of the Eiffel Tower. So I'll do that, right? So yes, imposing structure. And, you know, I took some at night, but this was in 2016 maybe. And 2016, 2017, somewhere there. But so it is an imposing structure and it's beautiful. Like this is at night, lit in a way that it's kind of uplit at the time. And they have different times a year that it's lit differently. So it's a beautiful place, right? I mean, I'm quite happy with these images, and because my brain is drawn to symmetry, I think I've said that on every single time we had a conversation. It was firing, right? And I tried to make it look interesting and cool in different ways. Like this, of course, is sparking off my brain right now. It's very symmetrical. It feels like if you're gonna shoot off into the atmosphere, right? Lovely. So it kind of plays against yours, right?
This is the tourist version.
The tourist version, but this time, because I had experienced it before, and I had this kind of, I don't want to say it's a bad experience, it's a good experience, but it felt as if you're being processed like cattle through Paris. I push myself now to not take a photo of the Eiffel Tower. So I focused then on everything that was going on with people up at the Trocadero, which looks down at Champs-Élysées and Eiffel Tower, kind of up on a hill. And I found myself then being entertained by all these people who had made the journey to this tourist trap.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were disappointed or if they felt as if maybe they were going through what I was going through the first time. But, you know, you're trying to take a photo and there are like dozens of people in your photo.
Yeah.
You know? And so this girl, to me, she's right now looking straight ahead at the Eiffel Tower. And she looks...
Does it?
Does it? She looks disappointed. She looks like if, you know...
Yeah.
I can't wait to leave here. Like her parents are off taking a selfie and I was like, can we go?
There's a great portrait though.
Yeah.
Like I would love to see like if it was just like it was super tight, so just her head.
Yeah.
I know all this is contextualized with the Eiffel Tower, but her expression is so genuine, you know, just getting this.
Yeah. She looks, I'm probably gonna go on even closer. She looks bored and or hungry or tired. Maybe all three.
All three, yeah.
Because maybe she's been lugged around by her family or friends trying to cram in as much as they can in this tourist trap, walking up and down.
Because I see she's wearing a band with different flags.
Yeah, that looks like South Africa. And looks like, yeah. So, I'm seeing the band with different flags. But then I became, as I said, really entertained by people who were having a moment with the Eiffel Tower. So the Eiffel Tower then gave me the reason to capture people in their element. So there was this one, and then there was this other lady. Let me see. Please move ahead. Okay, the blue screen of death here. Right. You know. Then there was this lady. You know. This again captures perfectly what I was talking about. Like, so she is making sure that the world knows that she's in front of the Eiffel Tower, and her boyfriend is on the phone. Like, just now. Let me just deal with this call. He is not even
2 wheels apart.
2 wheels apart. They are 1 foot away from each other, and she is lapping up the Eiffel Tower, and he's like, I can't this be over? You know? And so I found this to be quite entertaining, hilarious almost, right? Like, from an anthropological point of view, this is like golden. So the Eiffel Tower then became this, I wouldn't say a joke, and I don't want to cheapen it. I wish Trinidad had an Eiffel Tower, but I think you get my point.
All right, so I didn't take any photos up there because sorry, I don't know if you.
Yeah, no. Well, let me just close out then on Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, because I didn't take any up here.
Yeah. Which is funny because it was your first experience of it, and you took none of it.
Yeah, because I think I experienced exactly what you're talking about. Like, no, I don't think you're being I don't think you're being snooty. You're being honest, and like I could say that when I got there, I saw it and it was cool. That was it. Like, it wasn't anything life changing. I didn't feel that. Again, like, you know, when I reference seeing light, you know, and you feel compelled to bring the camera up and, oh my gosh, I just want to get this. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. But you're right. Cattle is, again, you're right. cattle is the right word. I felt like I was in this large group, and it's almost like you want to hold people and say, are you enjoying this right now?
Yeah.
Do you know where you are? It looked like you just had to be there. It was like a bunch of people trying to be cool,
Yeah.
or had FOMO,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, because there were people dancing, recording themselves. I
TikTok,
guess
a
maybe
whole
TikTok.
Group of people,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's somebody in a costume as well.
Yeah.
That was the final show. That took the whole experience out. So I think I just took my camera off. There were some huge statues though, some sculptures, and I was
Yes.
tempted, but I took the camera off and I just walked. I just
So
walked around.
so you took it in, but you didn't see anything about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to round out this locks thing. So this was maybe the only photo I took of the Eiffel Tower-ish, with it kind of being part of the subject, as a subject in the frame, right? But it was about, because at the time I didn't know what the locks meant, so I kind of framed it as the background to these locks, which, I didn't understand the cultural significance, certainly not until I just read it. But I found this to be a compelling image because it stopped me to ask the question, what does it mean? What do all these locks mean? And now that I know, I'm seeing the names Mohammed, Kathy, and I don't know who that is, Tuma.
Not one French person there.
Yeah. So people clearly are intent on staying together. So they've locked themselves together.
As a good question, if that's the culture, I mean, it's a joke. What is the culture over there? Shouldn't everybody in Paris be like happily married and
Lockdown.
Yeah. People flying in from all over trying this thing when they have the same problems.
Well, I could probably see where people be like, wait, why are you buying an next lock? Who are you buying a lock for?
Why do you keep it?
Why do you keep that lock? Yeah, why, Anyway, but over to you. I guess
Yeah.
that's my Eiffel Tower experience.
Yeah, the only shot I had was that was this very touristy one. And I tried so hard. I said, okay, don't just take. So I waited for a pigeon to fly in the frame. I was just like, oh, okay, that makes it like special and unique.
Oh, you just noticed the pigeon.
Yeah. I tried to get him in the space there.
Oh, no, that's cool though. That's really cool.
Yeah. And then when we were leaving Trocadero, was the spot, right? Right. And when we were leaving there, I found this to be more interesting. It was just I guess it was like an apartment or some type of a building.
You got another bird in there.
Yeah, that was kind of by chance. Anyway, and then this spiraling staircase, and I love
the shadows.
Yeah.
Sorry, I beat you to
Nah,
it. But the shadows are very interesting.
Yeah. But it brought so much it's not contrast, but it brought so much it's like texture in the photograph, right? There's lines, there's light and dark, there's
spirals, there's
the
streets.
spiral, and then there's that repeated pattern on the wall that's a shadow. So it you let your eyes wander. And I think I've said that so many times on this podcast. I like dense photographs. Also, I like to imagine it's a scene. So I would have loved to see a guy running down, just holding the frame, still frame, just watch a guy running down, being chased or something like that.
Yeah. And just to round this out, I mean, this was another person who was kind of moving back to the Eiffel Tower observations, right? This girl here, again, taking photos of people taking photos. But what's interesting in this one is, yes, so cool. She's trendy. It's a little, is that a Zeiss? Some sort of Leica, maybe a Leica.
Check and see. Zoom in and see.
It looks like a Leica. I don't know if, that is zoomed in.
If
That's it.
On your pad, whatever.
That's it. But it looks Leica-ish, but look at the guy off to her left. He's like sitting checking down his phone. This guy down here, he's like, please spare me. Like, this is what if he's like a driver or something, some tour guy? He's waiting.
Like, eat time for the week.
Yeah, exactly.
If you just because I wanna
Hey, am I?
I never see that.
You ever see this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's when you were getting the Eiffel Tower. I don't know.
It probably was. It probably was.
Yeah. So, for some reason, I will. This is probably the last one I have in my catalog. Here
This one.
again, these doors, and I'll probably end on this one. I don't know how many more you have. You could take us out with the rest you have,
Okay.
but I'll probably end on this one. I'll look to see if I have any others. But
There's a door in a door here.
a door in a door, and it just goes to show that maybe they didn't realize how much how do I say how important this aspect of the architecture will become. But I found it to be one of the most impactful elements of the street level experience. These well crafted doors, and these people would just be on their way, and it kind of became the picture frame for me. It kind of framed them.
Why do you prefer the door? Because you have shots with a person in front of the door and a shot with just the door itself. Which one you prefer? And why?
I prefer people walking through the door. As I said, it kind of frames them as if they are in a picture frame.
Okay, frame in a frame.
A frame in a frame, yeah. So it kind of creates, because the doors in and of themselves, not all of them say something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It kind of comes to life to me when somebody's walking through the frame. So, yeah.
So why put a door in a door?
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless they're actually not doors.
Maybe not. I'll throw over to you then.
Yeah. So again, walk in. This one, I think the motivation here is pretty obvious. So this guy walking away from us in the alley. I had some waiting to do to get into the right spot. Yeah, I just now the floor. Did it rain? I don't think it rained. I think that maybe it rained earlier, but there was wet for whatever reason.
Maybe they washed it down or something.
Yeah, could be. And the reflection on the floor, the texture of the plants in the background, again, shadows in front and something, lit in the background. It causes you to draw your eye, into the frame.
What makes this interesting then for me, or what makes me really appreciate this photo is it really doesn't matter who the guy is.
Yeah.
His shadow and his silhouette is what matters in this,
And it says, gosh, I could talk on and on about this, but it says so much about not who necessarily, like who a character or what a character says he or she is, but what they appear to the audience to be. So that might be the owner of 3 shops, real nice guy, dad of 3, family guy, but he looks so sketchy to me.
Right.
Because the pose, his hands in his pockets, it's again high key. It's almost like that film noir type of thing where that's like a trench coat and you have like a
scene
gun in there,
So now that you say it, I mean, if this is the scene that's presented to me and I had to walk through this alley with this guy, I wouldn't. Like, I don't know who's this guy. It kind of is a bit ominous too. It has a kind of darkness, even though it's so well lit because I can't see his face and I can't tell his intention. Yeah. No, cool.
And this is, I think, about a couple feet, probably 20, 30 feet further up. This photograph, I would say, is a bit forced because I just saw this this sign. Right?
Yeah.
At the time, I thought it was I thought it was just like a guy, right? But apparently, it's like a drawing with
some interesting graffiti.
Yeah. Dragon face or some type of thing.
Yeah, look out for dogs crossing and dogs cycling.
And I think somebody did that after the fact, right? Yeah. So anyway, I just saw this guy walking and in a city like Paris where there's a lot of cycling, a lot of walking, and if you are driving, the cars are very small. I looked at this gentleman, the walking sticks, and it's kind of take some things for granted. I take some things for granted.
I remember seeing this guy walking, so it might look like he's laboring, and he is because he's walking assisted with these canes or whatever you call them, crutches. But he was doing some good pace. He was moving. I remember this guy. He was keeping fact, I think he passed us. But anyway, we were kind of stopping and going, taking photos, but he kind of outpaced us after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, this photograph is a little bit, is a bit special to me. There isn't anything, there's no place really for your eye to fall. It may fall in the middle, or it may fall on the woman with the white hat and the guy on the right hand side.
Yeah.
But the reason I like this photograph so much is because the memory I have attached it to the right here on this side is a bookstore. And this is when we walked through a particular place.
I remember it, yeah. In the center of the city, yeah.
Right, and there's a mall. Where you tell me there was a lot of a particular type of people there.
It's Aronmont. The first Aronmont, I think it's called Aronmont.
Okay.
But yeah, this is like heart of the city now.
Right. So when we got there, to the right on this side, there is a bookstore. And I got so excited. So I said, Ryan, I'm just going by the bookstore. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Run across. But I vaguely remember you laughing, right? And I was like, okay, I'm not sure what was the joke, but I thought you were laughing at my excitement, like, oh, a bookstore. So run across there, and the bookstore is right here, on the right somewhere, right there. And going through all the books, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is the French section, and going through, and I'm like, wait, why is nothing in English? Then I realized, oh, right, duh.
Yeah. I was pronouncing it wrong. It's arrondissement.
Okay.
Arrondissement.
Yeah, and I felt so defeated. Like all that excitement just deflated. Instantly deflated.
Why are you looking for English in France? They
yeah.
I would say, I don't know if it's French pride or French bad mind. They're not trying to talk English for anybody.
Yeah.
Talk French. I guess I could respect it in their country too. Talk French for them.
Next.
Yeah. There you go.
This one is more in line with the type of photography I like to do. It's more street/documentary style photography. Couldn't figure out what was the issue, but these officers or officials, they were dealing with this gentleman, and it really wasn't pleasant. And I took a chance taking the photograph, but they looked right into the lens, particularly this female officer here. Whatever that guy did, he was in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
It looked like if you were about to be in trouble, the way both of them were looking at you. Yeah.
Right. And my last photo would be
from Paris, right? Yeah.
From Paris, yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Would be this couple. I asked them to take the photograph, and at first they were a bit nervous.
I really love this photo.
Yeah, and they did kiss on their own accord. And this is actually the photograph after the kiss, but she went for it. I don't think he was prepared. Yeah. And I just liked how they were blushing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well you could see the I wouldn't say happiness, but their willingness to give you a photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah.
It's like it's there in their expression, right?
Yeah.
Not vulnerability.
Yeah. But this was before or after the kiss?
After.
Right.
After.
You ever saw that video where no, it was somebody's body of work. A photographer was going around asking strangers for photos, and then he would pose to people, and then he would ask one of them to kiss the other one, and invariably, they both smiled after.
Okay. Wait. So is it that the kiss happened and then they smile?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like he would take a photo of them to strangers, or maybe strangers. Yeah. They'd be like kind of serious, and then he'd say, "Okay, give them a kiss," and then take the photo again, and absolutely every single one of them,
grin.
This kind of grin.
Yeah. I did see a version of that. It was just one person. They would take two portraits. They would take one, and then the other one they would compliment them.
Yeah.
And like, you're the most beautiful person I've seen for the day.
Similar.
Then, take the shot,
so
and
like,
it was really, really nice.
I'll see if I can find it while you're talking.
This but yeah, this couple. I mean, I could be wrong. They're old. I mean, they're grown people. But like, the love look young. Either like when I say young, or they've constantly been working on it. Yeah, and it just felt like an honor to take the
Yeah,
photograph.
so this is what I'm referencing. It was like I think it was a Vice project. So, they asked people, oh my God, let me see, before and afters. So this may have been is this the before? This is the after, like after being kissed. Let me see.
No, this is
No, that's the artist.
Yeah. So this before.
After.
Cool.
You know? Before, after. So I just found this body of work to be quite interesting too. Before, after being kissed.
I wonder what country this was in being done in. Because
I'll tell you.
I figure
Before, look at the after. This guy is blushing. All of them. In fact, that's almost the face that you just got.
Would you just try that?
If I compare this to that's almost the face of the girl.
Yeah,
Right?
the girl.
Check her
More the girl,
face.
yeah.
Yeah. That might be a good kind of social experiment. Ask people to maybe people who know each other. I mean,
Yeah, because that's what I was asking what country, because I'm wondering like the culture would have to be kind of ingrained there.
yeah. Before,
She's serious, but
after. Yeah, this was I remember this Vice article. Before, after. You see. Yeah.
it's
So
a great one.
yeah, kisses have an effect clearly.
Yeah. Kiss more folks.
Kiss more. Kiss more strangers.
Yeah, but that's it for me for Paris.
All right. Well, I'll share some other images that I have from France in general. So the story goes earlier, before our trip, I had to travel with my wife she went on business and needed some help with her travel. 75 cannot be found. Here we go. So we went to a place called Fontainebleau, and don't chastise my masking skills or lack thereof, but I tried to make the so in Fontainebleau, which is a small town outside of Paris, on the outskirts, maybe about an hour and a half outside of Paris, they have this university town, and in the city square, I don't know if it's a city, the town square, they have this, we call it merry-go-round. This thing is the most eerie,
Gahara.
gothic-looking form of entertainment. Now, it's compelling because it's so different than anything else that's in the space that it's actually a cool place to hang out, and around it there are shops and coffee shops and ice cream shops, etc. But just the style of those lights and designs, I found myself quite scared to this. But anyway, it's an interesting thing to look at. And then ever so often kids would come up to it. Let me see if I could find. Ever so often kids will come up to it, and you'd have this type of scenario where the parent is, in this case the grandparent, is looking on at the child or grandchild. But that thing looks scary to me.
Yeah, all that missing is some creepy music.
Some creepy music, yeah.
Yeah, look at Jiminy Cricket in front there.
Jiminy Cricket, yeah.
Big eyes, boy. Like he's out drugged out of his mind.
But this is like next to Movie Town there's the Ferris wheel and these little communal things so it's I guess similar concept. And then on one of the days I found myself taking a walk while my wife was doing her training or whatever it was, and I found myself along this path, and I was like, "Oh, leading line," Well, clearly it was just about spring, so things were just sprouting again. This was Carnival. This was actually Carnival 2024, Carnival Monday, Tuesday, 2024, and so just about spring, and so you're still seeing the kind of woodlands coming to life now. But this long road again, I was like, do I walk along this road, boy? It's kind of eerie as well.
Do I get kidnapped?
Is this, yeah. And I guess that's how we're conditioned with these kind of scenes in movies, right? But in and of itself, it's a nice scene. Nice long road going through the woods. I didn't feel unsafe, but of course I had, we're looking at the image, that's where my mind went to.
I'm looking at the crossing sign, and there's a little track. I'm guessing, I'm like, where is this? Why Is that like a hiking trail? Or
Yeah,
something?
it was. It's
Okay,
like
okay.
people go walking through these areas a lot. So
Okay.
this was on the outskirts of the town,
Uh-huh.
and what I encountered was people running, people walking,
Okay.
people camping as well
Okay,
in the
okay.
woods. So
So
I'd
it's like
imagine when it's like in full bloom, it must be a very lovely place when it's green and full of
Nice.
colors. You know. Similar again. I found myself drawn to these kind of leading lines through the woods.
I'd love to cycle through this.
Yeah, actually, people mountain biking. Yeah, that's what was going on. So yeah, and then the architecture was quite. What's the word I would use? A old version of Utopian. It's like 1960s version of Utopia.
You
Yeah.
know, those very healthy bar soaps.
Healthy bar soaps.
Yeah, just have like all kind of oatmeal and
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
To exfoliate.
Yeah,
It looks like that, yeah. So this building, I took a couple shots like this and this. So it's quite dystopian in its look now, particularly in the treatment in black and white. But at the time this was built, I'm sure this was the definition of the future.
Somebody was proud.
Yeah. This
I really like this photograph.
yeah, but yeah. So that's my Paris and France images. It was good to experience the French version of a chilled day. So many people were just sitting down, enjoying their coffee, enjoying their brunch, their croissant, their lunch, and I'm taking away from this trip. I'll take the obligation, put the obligation on myself to enjoy my lunch times.
I think the takeaway from that trip is the importance of mental health. Trinidad is not like Paris. We do have a giant river running through the country, but we also have a lot of positive things here, and our environment may not be it may not be the same, but we could find those little pockets of time to take care of ourselves because it is important. And I don't think anybody, for the most part, any person that's been exposed to television, social media, I don't think that they are unaware of the importance of mental health and how we are struggling with it right now.
Yeah, and I lost a friend recently to suicide, and clearly he was struggling in his own way. I mean, he took an ultimate act, but I think you're right. We need to find ways to decompress, take a load off, take some time, recharge, become inspired. And so I will challenge myself, as I said, to finding time in the day to just do that at lunchtime. Just find a place, a quiet space, and read a book, eat your food, and be.
Yeah.
And in our way, that's like sitting by the river, like those people that we saw in Paris. Clearly they taking time to savor the moment.
Yeah. I mean, we have rivers in Trinidad, but we
I don't think you're gonna stand by Karen.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, you could if you want.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
But our river have the curry duck and the goat and the chicken and this and that and But find pockets of time, folks. Not saying pick a day where your body will pick one.
Oh, for real.
So
and I would say check up on your friends.
Yeah.
Reach out to somebody you haven't spoken to in a while and say, hey, you're on my mind.
Yeah.
So, that might help somebody through something that they're going through. So, all right. Well, on that note, thank you very much. I'm Ryan.
I'm Azriel.
And we shoot on Sundays.
Other days too.
Yeah, and other days too. Now we're discovering we shoot different things on different days.
Yeah.
In this case for Paris, we shot. I think this was on Monday, so we shoot on Mondays. Clearly, last time for the markets we shot on a Saturday, so clearly we shoot on more than Sundays, but mainly Sundays. In fact, today is a Sunday that we're filming this on. So we do shoot on Sundays, and thank you for taking the time and getting this far. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like the images. If you didn't, it's cool. We do. So
that makes me laugh every time.
And the objective here, as you said, is we don't want these images to die on hard drives. Thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Mesdames et messieurs, j'aurais pu vous emmener au pays des citronniers et du farniens.